Hey, Bob.
Hey, what's up, BC?
Well. Where do I find the link for the podcast? Okay, let me
That is a super deep subject, dude.
let me get you a link, brother.
Sweet.
All right.
Oh, this is some good music here.
Oh, yeah. Chris always has the best music
Oh, be
to start
quiet.
the podcast with.
Yeah, all that no copyright strikes here.
That's right.
Yeah.
Darn right.
Oh, yes, baby.
Yeah, my wife loves this music.
It's better than that other techno weirdo Star Wars crap you had on there.
Yeah, I could ride to this.
Gator Mike.
Hey, Chris, are we live?
Yes, we are.
Oh,
So can they hear us now?
Yes,
there
they can.
we go.
All right.
Hey, if you just
They probably could hear us before this. All that commentary was going
yes,
on.
yes, they can. All right. If you are new to the podcast, please like and subscribe. The more it gets to people, it helps us out. We have special guests tonight. We have Chris and Brian from leadership of IMRG. So they got some information for everybody that might be in it. IMRG. And then we'll talk about some bullet points. I did have some slides, but we have an extra guest, and that person didn't fit in the slide. So I got to be respectful and put them in a slide. All right. Welcome to the podcast, everyone. All right. Let's see if we can get some noise here. Can we do something? Yeah. There we go. All right. Let me see if I can get everything here. All right. So you want to enter? Oh, I got the wrong slide here. I got Chris out. Let's see. I got a new scene here. I think there's.
There we go.
There we go. There we go. Man, we got a lot to talk about tonight, folks. So I had to bring some people in here. I did talk to Ride and Fish. We're working on something coming up. Hopefully, we'll get that finalized in the next couple of days. And but we got Chris. You want to introduce yourself there?
I'm Chris Weisgarber. I'm one of the two regional coordinators with Brian for the Midwest.
Okay. And you have a YouTube channel also, right?
Our Indian Adventures.
Yes, Our Indian Adventures. So do you want to check them out? I'll put a link in the screen here in a second for that. Let me get the chat up. I don't have the chat up, so let me get the chat.
I
here.
do.
You do? Okay. So
Pretty active right now.
I know it's very active.
Yeah.
So give us some time. We'll get you in there. All right. Dr. Holler says I called it. Yeah, well, I did too. About almost 3 months ago, I had a dream that this would probably happen, and hopefully it's not going to turn into a nightmare. We'll talk about that tonight, and it's going to be fun. All right. Bob Cole is in the house. Welcome to the podcast. We're just waiting to see how many people get in here. Right now we have 25. I'm sure we're going to have more. Max is saying hi to everybody. Gator Mike, welcome to the podcast. Hey, make sure you're watching. Go ahead and hit that like button.
Joshua's in here.
Body Snatchers here. Todd Morris is here. Welcome to the podcast. I haven't seen you for a while. Jeff's in here. Welcome to the podcast. Joshua, hey, how's Pittsburgh doing for you? Hopefully you had a nice ride home. That's the guy from Pittsburgh. Mark Walk, hey, welcome to the podcast. All right. So
He's the Metro Milwaukee president.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
Cool.
Glad to have you on the podcast. All right. So let's see if I got everybody yet. Wind Therapy, welcome to the podcast. All right. Have I missed anybody, Connie?
I don't think so. I think you're doing pretty well for once.
I'm doing pretty well for once. Okay. All right. So I'm at the bottom. Devil's Triangle, my favorite ride. Yes. Hey, we had every intention to talk about the Jack Daniels ride. Oh, Will, welcome to the podcast. And and we went on to the Devil's Triangle, one of the best rides that me and Les have ever been on. And we're going to talk about that on another podcast. I'm sorry to say. Well, I do have it filmed with all the degrees, all the speed, everything GPS. It's going to be a great video. All right. NYC
Can't wait to
in the
see that
building.
one.
I can't wait
just
to
remember,
see it, actually. Don't
be showing that stuff. You'll incriminate yourself.
No, there's no way we could have went over the speed limit. All I know is my wife's truck brakes because we were going so fast and she was trying to keep up with us. We actually had 2 Harley-Davidsons trying to keep up with us. And then at the bottom of, I guess we're 333 meets, we waited probably about 3 minutes and they finally caught up. Anyway.
You had to stop to let them do it.
Yes, we had to stop.
We did.
Kevin Miller, welcome to the podcast. All right.
It was, yeah, we probably had criminal level speed. we were having some fun. I'll put it that way.
Hey, Vince from Canada is here. Welcome to the podcast. All right,
Vince.
All right, we got a lot to talk about. Now, listen,
Vince, the regional coordinator.
Yes, in Canada. Yep.
Oh, nice to see you again, Vince. I just saw you last weekend.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to say this only one time. Listen, subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button. We got 32 people here. We only got 7 likes. Let's blow this podcast. Let's make this the biggest podcast we ever had because we got tons of stuff to talk about. And hopefully we'll take away most of your fears and make this a positive podcast as much as we possibly can because we all love this brand, Indian. And that's the reason why I've asked these people to be on here so you guys can have some leadership from the IMRG, which is my favorite riding group. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun, man. And then Clark from chapter 1978 is on here too. So we got a lot of IMRG. So that's good that we have the IMRG leadership on here. So,
yeah,
all right.
Definitely.
All right. So what's this? Hey, Brian and Chris, how was the Talon 16?
That was good.
Oh,
Talon
okay,
was
gotcha.
good.
Oh, yeah. Gotcha.
Talon was good. We got stuck behind some cars for quite a bit of it, but that was okay too because it allowed us to because Chris and I we tend to try and challenge the performance of the bike. As Jeff knows. So it was nice because it kind of held us back and we could really stop and kind of enjoy the scenery more. So it was nice.
Okay. Yeah, I made a mistake. It wasn't the Vince from Canada. It's a Vince from Western.
Our table.
Oh. Yeah. Oh, Vince.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Vince and Pam. Yeah.
Man, we've been trying to locate you on Facebook like crazy, man. You got to send me your information. Yeah, because when we meet up to people like that, we want to keep contact with people because he was really cool. Vince was freaking cool, dude.
Yeah, he's from North Carolina. Yeah.
All right, so we're going to get into this. So I guess we could talk about the IMRG stuff first and what you guys thought, and then I'll go into some bullet points that kind of go with that. But you guys got a letter from Indian, right? What's that? Oh, what's that, Max?
Just let's tell everybody exactly what happened first.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay, yeah. You know what? Let's go. Let's just do that. And I don't want to take over the podcast because I'm sure there's a lot of people here who want to talk because I got them on here for a reason. All right, so we go to Jack Daniel's events and we're having fun. I mean, it seems like they know what they're doing. I met some people like Nick from Indian Motorcycles and the marketing and that kind of stuff, and it's been great. I mean, it was great. On our way home, we went to the Devil's Triangle. Great ride. We're gonna have that video for that. I rode down with these guys on the screen here on our way down to Jack Daniel's, so it was great to ride with people and friends and that kind of stuff. So anyway, when we get back home, the next day I go to work. I'm sure Brian went to work, Chris went to work, Max is retired, so he didn't go to work. And Max went to work. And about 1 o'clock, everybody's phone started just text messages after the news started spreading so much. So how did you find out that Indian was sold, Brian, on Monday?
Okay, so I actually had the day off too because I took Monday off from going down to the Jack Daniel's event. And kind of the same story. My phone just started blowing up. And one of those things that was blowing up my phone was the email from Nick, who you mentioned, at IMC, letting us know that this happened. And coincidentally, they did not find out until about an hour before the news broke.
Mm-hmm.
And he sent the email just as the news was breaking.
Wow.
So, you know, it was a really good, positive email. He kind of described a lot of what was in the press release, but he thanked us as the regional council for helping to build the Indian motorcycle IMRG community and how that was going to be a integral part of everything Indian motorcycle going forward.
Mm-hmm.
So that was encouraging news because, you know, it could have been, hey, we're handing this over to another company. You know, we're letting it go and we don't know what's going to happen to you guys. The other encouraging thing was that Polaris is keeping a stake in Indian motorcycle. So it's not like most of these deals that go down where they sell the company off and they just totally divest themselves from the company and everything. They obviously feel there is value there. I can tell you the Indian motorcycle cares a great deal. Polaris Indian motorcycle cares a great deal about the Indian motorcycle name and about the heritage of Indian motorcycle. I can't stress that enough. They really, really do. People may not believe it, but they really do care. So them keeping a minority interest in that company means a lot to me.
Mm-hmm.
It was also described that in Candlewood they found a partner to sell to that is not like most of your equity firms. They are not about buying a company, parsing it out, taking what's valuable, keeping it, and then selling off the rest. They're also not one of these equity companies that come in, buy up a company, run up the debt on it, you know, take out loans like crazy, run up the debt, then declare bankruptcy and shut it down, and then walk all the way to the bank laughing. They're not like that. They have no, and this guy's right. Kevin here is right.
Yeah.
They have never sold an asset. If you investigate them, they have never sold an asset. What they do is take brands that have value or have some type of heritage, and then they grow them and they put them on a path to even greater success than they saw before. I was, you know, when I first heard the news, there was a little bit of trepidation, right?
Mm-hmm.
But as I investigated more, and as we got the email from Nick from Indian itself, and as the letter rolled out that's now posted on the IMRG Midwest Facebook page that was sent to the dealerships, I am very, very impressed and very excited about where this thing can go now. A lot of the naysayers, you know, of it's the end, 5 years it'll be dead, you know,
Yeah.
next week they're going to shut it down. You know, I think you're wrong.
Well, my thought on that, and I don't want to interrupt you, is that I think you guys right there, IMRG, is a very important part of this going forward. Okay, big time. The other thing is going to be dealers that are actually, I wouldn't say motorcycle dealers. I would say they're mom and pops and pretty much have Indian in their shops. And that's what they're invested in. Okay. I think the other, dealerships that have multiple motorcycle vendors in there or you know what I'm saying, manufacturers. I think that's going to be the issue with Indian going forward, is because do they care, that kind of stuff? Which motorcycle do they really want to sell? That kind of stuff.
One of the reassuring things about Nick's email too was he said not only Indian but Carolwood themselves, they see the value in the IMRG and what it brings to the brand. So that was reassuring as well.
Yeah, I mean, let's look at Mike Kennedy, right? So Carolwood has brought Mike Kennedy on to run the company, right? To be the CEO of Indian Motorcycle. Now, he was the CEO of Vance Hines. So there you have your aftermarket performance, right? He worked at Harley-Davidson in multiple leadership roles throughout his career. So this is a motorcycle guy, right? So we now have a motorcycle guy at the helm of this company. And one of the things that he was really good at when he was with Harley-Davidson was building the community and building the camaraderie around the brand. So when he says, as he did, that the IMRG is an integral part of what he wants to do with Indian Motorcycle and the community and the camaraderie around the brand is what's going to make this thing succeed. I believe it. I honestly do.
Yep. I do too.
Well,
yeah, go ahead.
Well, here's the thing too, where Kennedy has a long history with Rumble On, so he knows the dealership side too. And with his experience with Harley, he's touched base with Hawk. He knows how to build a culture, which is the one thing that everybody has said that Indians needed. I think we've already started. The IMRGs, the event you guys just went to, the race things, and that's the thing that I'm concerned about. I'm concerned about two things out of this. Number one, how's it going to affect the race team? Polaris had deep pockets to develop R&D for racing. This company might not have those pockets to do that. And number two, no company is going to keep producing two engines forever. I'm afraid that the demise of the Thunderstroke that I predicted 4 years ago when the Power Plus came out is imminent. I think the Thunderstroke's going to die very soon.
Oh, Max.
Or be killed. Be killed.
Max. Listen.
I said it a long time ago.
So, and it's still here. Yeah. And here's the thing. I listen, at some point I'm going to be able to tell you guys some things. But Max, I think you are sorely wrong. That's where I'm going to leave it.
Well,
I think you are really, really wrong.
Well, here's my thought on this, because a lot of people,
I know you like hearing that, and I know that's what you want to hear. And I'm not just telling you what you want to hear.
There's a lot of fear out there. Okay, and this is what we can't allow to happen: is don't sell your bike, don't trade it in for a Harley, don't do that kind of stuff. Ride it out. Okay, I know there's investment, in your motorcycle, and you have fear that maybe this company is not gonna make it, and I need to trade this sucker in and get you a Harley. Don't be doing that. Okay, this company actually needs your support, and that's probably the biggest backbone they got is the riders out there that believe in this company. And in the Thunderstroke, there's a lot of people that love that engine, but I'll tell you what, it's probably not going to be Indian that kills it. It's going to be EPA. It's going to eventually kill that engine. It's not Indian's fault. I mean, they can try their best. I mean, there was rumors that possibly there's a 131 or something like that cubic inch Thunderstroke coming out, but who knows? But that's what's going to kill it. Now, the king of the baggers, I think it's going to be, they might have more sponsors than what Indian would have on their bikes. Maybe they will ask for more money and that kind of stuff. And Indian has to supply them with the parts and engines and that kind of stuff. And, if a team's down, they're going to have to give them an engine, and help them out. But I think they need to really invest in the king of the baggers, because that's a racing series that's getting bigger and bigger. And, every time I see somebody on a Harley or an Indian, I ask them if they watch the King of the Baggers. There's probably about 90% of them that's never seen a King or even heard of King of Baggers yet. It has that much potential, and they're interested immediately once I say it.
Yeah. So let's talk a minute about what we've lost and what we've gained, right? Because I really think what we gained is a lot more than what we lost. I don't really think that we have lost that much in this deal. We have lost, possibly have lost, right? A big brother, right? Or a mama or papa that could shoot money over there anytime that it was needed, right? But Indian Motorcycle is profitable right now, right? So I don't think we've really lost that much in that, right?
Yep.
But what did we gain? We gained a organization now that will be solely focused on the motorcycle. It won't have the bureaucracy of a multi-line company, right? Some people will say that's bad. I believe it's good. And with Polaris still owning a percentage of the company and knowing how they love this brand and want to see it succeed. Listen, they didn't put all this work into this to just let it drop. People say, well, they did that with Victory. No, Victory was a different story because in Victory, they were competing with themselves, which would never let sales get to either brand that would allow them to be profitable. So, vesting off Victory allowed them to have more sales in one company that actually had more brand recognition. And whenever they did that, that's whenever Indian really started taking off. I don't mean to insult the Victory guys because they're still Polaris guys. They're still in, I still ride with those guys. But man, Indian builds really quality bikes. We have not lost the manufacturing facilities. We have not lost the people at Polaris that were dedicated to Indian Motorcycle. Those 900 employees that were dedicated to the Indian Motorcycle brand inside Polaris are going to come over to the new Indian Motorcycle. The Spirit Lake, Iowa plant, that's going to come over with it. The engine plant that builds the engine, that's going to come over with it. The research, development, and design facility in Switzerland, that's coming with it. Like, they gave this company everything they need to be successful.
Yep, 100%. I think 100% right there. I mean, you speak the truth there, and I don't want people, because I know, where I work at, we have 300 employees, and I'm in charge of a lot, 300 employees. And anytime some change comes down, you have a certain percentage, usually about 45%, maybe 50%, they fear change, and other people are optimistic and they say, you know what, let's support this change, let's rock on. We don't need that to happen in the workforce of Indian, because there's probably people that are sitting there because they just found this news out on Monday that work for Indian that are thinking the same thing. Hey, do I need to look for a new future? Blah, blah, blah. How's things going to be ran? We've heard when another company comes over that the first thing they got to do is look at the books and start cutting things. I don't think this company can afford to do something like that, especially since Indian's been running so well, But what's your guys' thoughts on that? So.
Yeah. Well, I was looking at some stuff too. Ducati's been bought twice by a. So and last year they had over $1 billion of revenue. So Indian's not the first motorcycle company to be bought by a private equity firm. So.
Yeah.
And I really believe if you look at the history of this Carolwood, they invest in. They don't pull back from. They grow companies. They build more, and all the word we're getting is that's what they're looking to do. I mean, I'm ready to go with this thing. I am excited, really, really excited about what this does for the IMRG, especially because I think they are really focused. They understand the importance, as did Polaris. But it has been communicated to Carolwood, and Carolwood understands, and Mr. Kennedy understands that the IMRG is key. the owners are key,
Yep.
right?
Okay.
The people
Are you-
that straddle these, throw their legs over these bikes every day are key.
Yep.
Mhm.
Hey, can you put back up what Behind the Bars 859 had just a second ago?
Mm-hmm.
That's a good statement. Yeah. The race team, the IMRGs, the ambassador program,
Mm-hmm.
and the other groups that are out there, so people don't lose interest in the brand. That's true. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
I'm cautiously optimistic about Kennedy because if anybody knows how to build on that, he would.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just I'm cautious about what the future is going to bring.
All right. So,
I mean, it sounds good and it looks good, but like I said, every company's gone through this. Even Harley's gone through this with the AMF years. So
I know a lot of
you know.
company. One person, Max, says Indians finished. Private equities destroy every company. No, they don't. I know a lot of
not
companies
every
that-
company.
Yeah. There is some that do fail because of the mismanagement and that kind of stuff. But we'll see how this goes. I mean, you got to give everything a chance. If we start seeing things, that's causing parts. We won't be honest with you. Okay. Every time I try to get a part that's on back order, Indians parts are already on back order. So that's a common thing. I mean, that happens all the time. All right. So, dealerships, with somebody was mentioning technicians, you can't find a good one anymore. Dealerships are really struggling there. Get your bike fixed in a timely manner. It's going to cause frustration too. Now that's the dealership's going to have to figure that out. That's not Indian. They can, good.
Our local dealer, they're seeing bikes coming over from Pennsylvania because there's a dealer in Pennsylvania that's got a 3-month wait list to get your bike even serviced.
Yeah.
So they're coming clear
Wow.
into Ohio to get their bike serviced.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's one thing that I do hope that comes out of this, and I have no insider knowledge about this, just a hope, is that they do add to the dealer portfolio and we get more dealerships. That's something I would like to see happen. And listen, in our first meetings with them, that's going to be what we're going to say, because we are going to have meetings with this, the new representation of Indian motorcycle. So
hopefully they stay away from these large dealer networks, because that just seems like
that's exactly
like the
right.
Cincinnati. They come in and they squeeze what they can and they move on.
Hey guys, I just want to chime in here for a second. Now we got 44 people watching. That's awesome. 19 likes. Come on, get them likes going, and also subscribe to the channel. And also, I'm trying to catch up with your guys' comments. Man, you guys are putting them in there so fast. Mark McDavess here. Welcome to the podcast. He says, I'm just happy the new CEO is a motorcycle guy. Exactly right. He's not playing golf, and he's not trying to sell shoes. So we're good. I'm seeing that all throughout the day.
well, he might end up selling riding boots.
Yeah.
Yeah, something.
Yeah, that's one thing that people. Yeah, go ahead.
Indian he's going to help with the apparel side of it. He's already committed to that.
Yeah.
Okay. Because you can say what you want about Harley, but the one thing everybody admits is that the motor clothes division, hands down, is the best motorcycle clothes you can get. That's what we need to build. Okay.
Yeah.
If it takes building something like Indy Ridge, from boots to shirts, the rain jackets, all of that needs to be improved upon.
Yeah, here's one of the things that I heard down there in Jack Daniels was the clothes were made for a single person, and that's all they fit. You can get you think you get a woman's shirt, but it's really it don't fit right and that kind of stuff. They need to find the right models, the right designers, and get the Indian merchandise. Because I know everybody that rides a motorcycle wants an Indian shirt. Every time we go to a dealer, we want a dealer shirt. But they always, they're cheap, which is good, $25. But the material and that kind of stuff is kind of, could be better and that kind of stuff. So raise the price up a little bit. I will pay $30, $40 for a dealer shirt when I'm going through town and never been to that dealer before. And most of the time they never have it in my size either. So But yeah, that's one thing. Hopefully that's going to get fixed in here. But really, what I think one of the challenging things with Polaris and why they did this is that Indian was only about 10 to 15% of their business, and the other part of their business was kind of stale, and they needed to invest in that. And with Harley coming out with this new technology and that stuff like that, I think they're looking at this, Carolwood as investing in that more than them investing with it, so they can actually get back into the snowmobiles, the off-road vehicles and that kind of stuff where they're starting to struggle in sales and making profit on. So I think it's a good thing that Polaris did this, and now Indian's separate, and they can actually, it's nobody else's money's going anywhere else. It's just going straight to Indian, So I think that's what's really good about this.
And each side can focus on what they do best.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because one of the things with the separation of Indian out of the on-road, off-road, whatever it is division, guess what? The dealerships aren't selling anymore.
Mm-hmm.
No more Slingshots, guys. They're gone.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Because I think that's one of the worst vehicles out there on the road. Every time
that's
I see
his
one,
personal opinion. You're going to offend somebody if you say that.
Well, I'm just saying. Yeah, I think most people will agree with me because every owner I've talked to, they say the same thing about the thing. So, but I'm not going to go into that. I mean, it's a nice vehicle. I'm glad you have it. Ride it on the Dragon, see how it goes. That's good. All right, let me see. Am I missing any comments here? Connie.
About 40.
About 40.
50.
Yeah,
I know.
We got a lot.
Yeah, we just keep on getting more and more people. We got 55 people watching here. I appreciate everybody watching. We have a podcast every Tuesday night, so at 8 p.m. We talk about this stuff all the time. And we actually got V-ROM coming here next week, though. 125 guy. So it's going to be great.
Salty Badger's on here.
Salty Badger, welcome to the podcast.
He said, long as it don't go back to the victory years or to the transition of parts like Polaris did when they acquired it.
Yeah, we don't want Indian to become a T-shirt company. We want it to become a mic. And that's one thing that I think Carolwood's going to help out with this is where they're investing. They can actually invest in the new technology, so you don't have the same parts that our off-road vehicle has on an Indian motorcycle. A lot of people have talked about that too. So I think we'll start seeing, in a few years, if everything works out, which I hope it does, we'll start seeing some unique stuff on these Indian motorcycle bikes.
Well, part of Carolwood's investment portfolio, I guess, even has a creator-led sports media outlet called Jomboy Media, Jomboy.
Yeah, so they got a lot of stuff that
They
can
do. Real estate, restaurants, so a lot of different avenues of investments there.
Welcome to the podcast to Indians.
So
we have him as a guest too. Good.
So this company, just like Polaris, has money,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, that's why I say, what are we really losing?
Yeah.
We are getting a company that is going to focus on motorcycles and on the people that own those motorcycles and the culture around them. And I just got to tell you, I just think that's a positive. I don't think that's a lose in any way.
Yeah.
Well, it depends how much they want to do. Because like I said, we all know how deep Polaris's pockets were. They were earth core deep.
Well,
we don't know anything about this company. Nobody knows anything about this company, really. I mean, we can read all the stuff, but we don't know how much money they have.
I don't know. I mean, everybody thinks, Polaris is $1 billion company. That doesn't mean $1 billion company can spend, $1 billion on all these, companies that they have. They have to focus. And I think that's where the problem is that they were sharing the profits from Indian because some of their products ain't making money. So now they can focus on that, and Indian can focus on this. And I think that's what's really good about this is people are missing that point. This is like Harley-Davidson is now by itself, ready to go, rock and roll. And what we need to do is make sure we support it. Us, the buyers, the people that are riding the bikes, and that kind of stuff. And the IMRGs. I mean, we got to get the membership up. I think that's one of the big things that we can do. I know it's going to be harder on presidents because when you usually got, 12, 15 people in a ride, you might sometimes have 30 people on a ride. So I think that's where you get leadership and find people that you trust and help each other out. But I think that's where the key is to help and support everybody in this chat right here. If you own an Indian motorcycle, put it in there and say yes or no if you're thinking about selling your motorcycle. All right, and we'll figure out.
No, absolutely not. Yeah. Absolutely not.
You're not going to get a whole lot of yeses on that. Nobody's planning on giving up.
I know, but I'm just saying. They're trying to get involved with the what they're thinking. We know we're thinking, but what are these guys thinking? That's in this chat.
Two Indians agrees with me. Carolwood better have some deep pockets.
Well, yeah, I think they do.
Riding Fish is in the house, people.
Oh, Riding Fish is on here. All right.
Yeah. What's up, Fish?
So personally, I work for a company that was bought out by an equity firm. And the company that I was with previously had multiple operating companies. So I'll say similar to Polaris. And when those were spun off and sold and we became one singular independent company owned by an equity group, the focus now became, let's make this company the best that it can be. Let's become, more profitable. Let's have some lofty goals. Let's start turning some good numbers. And the focus is on a single company. So I think that's going to be good for Indian as a whole to have that singular focus on, hey, we're a motorcycle company, and that's what we're going to focus on. And I think that it's actually a good thing. Having the minority stake, Polaris, gives them some interest in making sure that it's successful. So, the deep pockets conversation, that everybody wants to have, there's always a possibility that they could kick in a loan and things like that. So, when I look at everything as a whole for Indian, I don't see anything that's negative here. I really don't. And again, that's from personal experience, having worked in a multi-operating company group business, and then being sold and narrowed down to a singular focus.
Yeah, I mean, you just cut out a lot of bureaucracy, right? You just get to a point where a company can turn a lot quicker, can do a lot more. So I'm like wholly excited about this because, like you're saying, and like I said previously, the focus now is going to be on the motorcycle and on what we can do to take this thing to, turn it up to 11, like the movie says, let's crank it to 11. Let's go with this. I mean, I think this guy's experience that's at the helm or will be in the helm here at the beginning of the first quarter of 26 is going to be, listen, the 26 product line is ready to be released. They're not going to not release the product line. And that product line is going to be what the new Indian motorcycle is responsible for. I hate to even call it the new Indian motorcycle because I really don't think anything but good change is going to come out of this.
Yeah, I wonder from a dealer standpoint, that's one of the complaints they have a lot is they have to carry too much of too many different models. So is this going to streamline with this new way of doing business?
You just made my point. Bye Thunderstroke.
Yeah,
that's how you streamline.
Yeah.
All right. So
and it's not just that, but you have to have so many Challengers, so many Pursuits, so many 108, so many 120. There's like 60 plus models that this dealer's got to manage. That's just crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're required to have so many of each on the floor, and then like I just had a recent conversation with our owner. They get like a 90-day interest-free loan on the floor, and then they start paying interest. So when you got dealers like Cincinnati with 80 plus bikes on the floor, that's a chunk of interest for all those models you got to sit on.
Yeah, and I know that the dealerships, the smaller ones, they have to have supplemental income from different motorcycle manufacturers, and I think that's what it is. But like you said, like some of the major huge dealers that have like 16 different lines of manufacturers, are they really concerned about selling an Indian motorcycle today? I think that's where it's going to hurt Indian in the long run, is that they got to find more, and they're going to have some kind of, like, how Harley-Davidson is now. They have a lot more buyers, out there. But if you have a Harley-Davidson dealer, they don't have anything else on the floor. There's no way an Indian dealership could do that. They have to have, different, unless you're the only one in that area and there's nobody's competition and you're the only one that sells Indian motorcycles, you might be able to do that. But I think they should limit it a few manufacturers, not 8 to 6 or that kind of stuff. I mean, how you guys agree? Do you guys agree with that or no? I mean,
or do they get to the point where you order your bike and 6 to 8 weeks it shows up in the dealer? Do you really need that instant walk in, trade your bike in, and drive and ride right out?
Yeah.
So
go ahead.
So my thing is why couldn't we do that? Why do we need other brands? Because people that want Indian want Indian. Why couldn't we do that? If this thing, if they invest in this and they do this the right way, I don't see why we can't be. And I hate to even say it because Indian does not want to be like Harley.
Yeah, they
right. And I don't think this new company wants to be like Harley. And another thing about Mr. Kennedy is I think he might have an axe to grind with Harley. And I think he may want to take the competition to him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He may have a point there. Yeah, he definitely might take that.
Yeah.
So listen, and the Ride On, which he used to work for also, he may want to take it to them too. I mean, this guy has experience. He knows how to maneuver this. I'm asking you, if Harley can do it, why can't we? Because we are actually selling more bikes than Harley did last year.
Yeah.
Whenever I say we, I mean
IMRG.
Well, the Scout is the number one mid-sized cruiser.
Exactly. The Scout and the Chiefs are the things that are selling. Let me ask you this. Wasn't the initial plan of Indian to be standalone dealerships? There weren't any other motorcycle brands in there, but they found out that wasn't sustainable. And then we now have the Multiline dealers. Hell, my dealership has Moto Morini in it. I never even heard of Moto Morini before, but I look at their bikes and I guess they're decent for run around town bikes, but that's not why I buy a motorcycle. So,
Well, so talk about that for a minute. The multi-line dealerships. Why do you think those are necessary? And I have an idea on this, but why do you think they're necessary?
To help cover overhead. The more you sell.
What are the demographics that are actually buying Indian motorcycles right now?
I mean, that's a good question.
Probably the same demographic Harley is.
Which is what? 50 plus. Now, Indian has a lot
of guys.
Well, Indian has a lot of product, that in the Scout line and things like that, for, I'll say, younger people, less experienced riders, those kinds of things. So they do have a line that addresses that. But no, to your point, I think it's very similar to the Harley lineup. So if you look at the demographic, they're getting older, and you have to have a product line in there that really entices a younger riding group or a different demographic to try to get them into the dealership. Prove me wrong.
Oh, you're probably right. I mean, I don't know.
No, that is their core customer is the late 40s to early 50s customer. That is their core owner right now, right? But that's why last year was the year of the Power Plus, and That's why they came out the Sport Chief RT, right? Is let's try and attract some of these younger riders who will come in here and then graduate to the next bike in another 3, 5, 10 years, right? So, you have to, in any business, if you're not thinking forward and thinking about attracting a younger customer, you're going to shrivel up and die. That's with anything. So yeah, you got to do that. And that's part of Harley's problem too, is that they say, oh, they're forgetting the core customer. Well, I don't think they're forgetting the core customer. The core customer is aging out.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
So they need to focus to stay alive. They need to go. That's why listen, if it weren't for Indian and the Scout, everybody on a Harley would still be riding an 88 cubic inch motorcycle, and they wouldn't be bringing out this small, bike for $6,000 that they're coming out now with. Which, wait till we see Indian's answer for that. I'm sure there's one in the works. I'm sure that actually Indian probably had something before Harley ever announced that, and Harley tried to beat him to the punch, but let's wait and see what happens. If it hadn't been for Indian, listen, Indian being alive and Harley being alive is good for both the Indian rider and the Harley rider. I've said it the whole time, and I'll say it till I die. It's the best thing that can happen to either one of us, because it forces both of them to innovate. And Indian, just like back in 1901, was at the forefront of innovating and pushing for Harley to do something else. Or they would still, I'm telling you, these guys would still be riding 88 cubic inch bikes that that leaks oil and they have to fix all the time.
And nobody's disagreeing with you on that, Brian, because again, these new road glides and street glides that they wouldn't have that if Indian hadn't come out with the Ride Command first. Okay,
right.
I'm still waiting for them to come out with a power windshield.
I don't think they're ever going to do that. But
why? Goldwing has it. BMW has it. Everybody else's has it. Harley's just slow on the uptake.
So,
you need to bags, right?
What's that?
What's that?
You need a CVO to have locking saddlebags.
That is correct.
Wow. Exactly.
Wow.
Well, I think the future is great for Indian. I think the backbone of the riders is there. I think because we went to Jack Daniels last year, they didn't announce Jack Daniels till March or something like that. This year they announced it at the actual Jack Daniels of next year's Jack Daniels. So I think that's a good sign. And that's going to be the 125th anniversary. Am I not right?
Yes.
It's going to be a big event. I know we got it on our calendars. We're hoping we're going to be able to make it. It's right now. You never know what happens. But I know me and Les and possibly Max will be down there. And we're thinking about doing a whole entire week possibly if we can. And we're going to start from the east and work our way to the west by Thursday. And I think it's going to be really fun. I mean, we'll have a bunch of people with us. If you guys want to do it, you can come with us. But I think it's going to be great. Now, I think if there's a dealership that you guys have in your area that doesn't have an IMRG, get with them. And if you feel good enough about it, create it. And we can give you some information about how to do that. We got two of the best right here in IMRG that can actually help you with that. If you want to share an email address or somewhere they can contact you, that'd be great.
IMRGmidwest.com.
Yep.
At gmail.com.
Hit that at gmail.com, right?
Yep.
IMRGmidwest@gmail.com. Hit that up. Actually, all new chapters come through me. So, hey, if you want to start a chapter, man, I'll get you in touch with the coordinators for your region. We'll set you up. You can fill out the application. And, hey, if you want to know more about the IMRG, go on imrgrc.org.
Yep. And
look that up. You don't have to register to find a chapter or to, find out about the RCs and, what the IMRG is all about. You can find out about it right from the homepage.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I think one of the things that's good about IMRGs, which I'm part of, we always have meetings, every month, get-togethers. I think we got one coming up, and we discuss a lot of things, what kind of rides we're going to have next year, what kind of events we're going to have. And I think that's what's really good. You can have a dealership list, IMRG, right? If you have enough Indian riders in your area.
I don't have a dealership.
Yeah. So it can be done. But I think what you got to do is make sure you're well organized. I think, and I know Brian is, where they're communicating left and right, and that's a good thing. And they got, every time I've seen Brian, he's got like 6 or 7 or plus riders at every event. So I know he's got an active and great IMRG. So I think that's one thing you can consider too, is that if you are in an area and there's no dealerships and that there's 10 Indian motorcycle, I was down at Jack Daniels. That's one thing that's good about going to Jack Daniels. I've met people that just live down the road from me that have Indians. Mm-hmm. That is so crazy.
Yeah. We met people.
Yeah,
we met people from Cincinnati while we were there. That's
and
crazy.
we never even knew this guy. Yep. Didn't know they even rode Indian, And now we know 2 or 3 people that actually ride Indian around this area. Same thing. Mm-hmm. Just go to a Facebook group, ask how many people are from your area, and 10 or 12 people show up and hey, listen, start a little discussion between yourselves and see what you guys want to do at IMRG, and then get a hold of Chris and Brian here and see what you guys can do. That's how we're going to support this move, and that's what we need to do. It's I can't say anything else other than that. So I don't know much about IMRG other than you two guys. That's the reason why I got you guys on here. But I think it's pretty easy, right? So
yeah, I don't have a dealership. I haven't had a dealership since 2016.
Yep.
So
and look at Cincinnati. In Cincinnati, they're still a chapter, even though the dealer closed. So
yeah,
Yep, they're still going.
Yep.
So hey, man, if you're out there and you're from Cincinnati, look up the Cincinnati IMRG. They're still rolling, man.
And I do a lot of support also for IMRGs. So if you are a president and you want to promote your IMRG, we might have you on here as a guest, talk about it and get your experience with IMRG. We will, interview you and make sure you're right fit. But we don't want somebody bad mouthing it, because every IMRG I've ever known has been good. So
that's my job.
That's your job.
Yeah.
Roy,
Sergeant
Ryan, easy. Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah.
Go ahead. What's up? All right, so let me look at some.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
There is one important fact here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Did you bring me a shirt back from Jack Daniels?
Oh yes, we did. Yeah, it's in the mail. It's in the mail.
It's in the mail.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
They sent it back because we only put 1 stamp on it, and they said we had to have more, so we put 2 on there. They sent it back, and we put 3 on there, and they still sent it back. I don't know how many stamps it needs.
Now it's just lost in the mail.
Yeah, and the package that we put it in there, it's got rips in it and stuff.
Okay. You see what I have to deal with here? Okay.
Yes, you got a shirt, and you will get it sometime this year.
Now, Max,
Guaranteed.
somebody on here says he wants a shirt like yours. Keith McCrary, I think it is.
Yes.
He says, I want a shirt like Max.
Yeah.
Okay, guess what? Go to any Indian dealership. These shop shirts are all there. They have every dealer I've ever been to has these shirts.
I don't know about got that design, but yeah, they got shop shirts.
Well, this is an older design,
Yeah.
but they've got something similar. So that's easy enough to do, Keith. Just go to the dealership.
All right, Connie, is there any really cool comments I missed? I know you've been writing them down.
There's a lot.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, no, don't put me on the spot like
Yeah, we're putting you on the
that.
spot.
No, I've been reading them all, but my little fingers can't keep up.
Hey, I want to tell you what. My wife was in. Hey, let's give the shout out to the Jack Daniels dealer, okay? And that was Crockett Power Sports. Yeah. Man, what a great, fantastic dealer. We actually have a video. We actually, I know the camera was messed up a little bit. You guys want to go on our channel. We interviewed the owner's wife, and she was really cool. And
Kathy.
And if you hear the history of
you
that.
You forgot to introduce her. You did not introduce her.
Oh, I apologize.
You didn't.
I apologize. I thought I said this is the wife.
You did too.
Yeah, I thought I did.
No,
either way,
you said this is the lady that owns it.
Hey, Max.
Yeah.
Hey, Max. Whatever it is, it's Chris's fault. Just saying.
Yeah, it's always mine. I need a tech person, and I do appreciate them letting us do a podcast. Now, hopefully, wherever next year's is that dealership will let us do a podcast there too. I think it's really cool, and hopefully next year we'll have 1,000 subscribers plus. And if you haven't subscribed yet and you're watching, and you like what you're listening to, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Okay, I had to do that, guys.
Yeah, John and Kathy Crockett are some very, very
yes,
nice
they
people.
are.
Very nice people.
Yeah,
yep,
very cool.
And yeah, I was waiting for I gotta get I got a hat for Jeff. If you guys want to go to did you wear your 112 hat there, Les? Yeah, there you go. A lot of people asked about that hat. You can get that on the website. Yeah. I can't believe how many people asked for that hat. But we gave one away to one of the Cleveland guys. But yes, you go to throttleiron.com. You can get that merch. All right. So we've talked about all the good, positive, and the negative kind of stuff. The future is what we need to talk about now. I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be. I think it's great for Indian to be. I can hear you clicking over there.
I know. You gave me this keyboard.
I know. I know. And I think it's good for Indian to be separate. I think they're going to be able to kick some butt. I think they might have to catch up a little bit with technologies with the infotainment center in the front. I think that might be one thing they might have to, and that costs a lot of money, and to invest on that kind of stuff. So I think if you're a rider, and which I am, and I love the Indian brand, stick with it. Do not fear. I think it's going to move in the right direction. And all I can say is, don't worry about all the memes that you're going to see on Facebook about, what is it, Victory 2.0 and that kind of stuff. That only happens if we fail Indian. All right. So, all right.
Yeah.
Future.
Do they?
Yeah, go ahead.
Do they potentially go like a lot of the auto companies where they've moved away from their own navigation? They've gone to the Android and the CarPlay.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Except the Android won't be on a bike. They won't let it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I run my Android on my Pursuit.
Yeah. Yes, there are ways to do it. But, and there's various videos on there about that. Hi, Billy. How are you, buddy? The one thing I want to say is this.
Yeah.
I remain cautiously optimistic. Again, I was around when I was told by a high up in Polaris that Victory was going to survive. It survived exactly 2 months from the day he told me that. And then the next thing I hear is Victory's gone. So I understand that this company does great. I understand the CEO does great. But I remain cautiously optimistic. I want to see what happens. Don't sell your bike. Nobody's saying that, but the naysayers are out there. I watched 3 videos today where people are going, oh, God, it's going to fail and this, that, and the other. Believe me, people, if you want to find the negative about this, it's already out there.
Yeah.
Tens upon tens of them. But that's not going to happen. Let's just remain cautiously optimistic and see what happens.
And that's one of the reasons why I had a live podcast tonight about this. We changed our whole entire direction, all right, to talk about this because there's so many people out there that have one-click, what do you call it, videos, okay, and they don't have any like comments or live that kind of stuff. So do you have a comment? We got some people in here high in the IMRG that work with Indian daily, pretty much, that know more than we do about this situation, and they feel comfortable enough to come on here and take your questions. So I think that's a big deal right there. Now, Polaris and what you said about Victory, and I heard a lot of people's feelings about, because there's still this day that I meet people with Victories that are still hurt about that situation.
Most definitely.
I think what Brian said earlier, and if he wants to repeat that, what exactly happened there? I mean, I'll let you have the floor. Or
Indian, Polaris wanted to start into the motorcycle business, right? So they started, and they were eyeing the Indian name the whole time, but they went ahead and started Victory to get the ball rolling, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they really wanted to be Indian. Now there were some legalities and things going on that caused that delay, and they ended up starting up with Victory. And then whenever they were finally able to acquire the Indian name, which, if you read a lot of sources on this, say that Willie G was also, or Harley was also trying to buy the Indian name because they wanted to buy it and bury it as deep underground as they possibly could. They didn't want anybody bringing it back, but Polaris won that battle and got the name. So once they did that, and Polaris was supplying or selling both Indian and Victory, they were a house divided, right? They were competing against themselves because Victory was taken off. Indian was a big name. I know that whenever I heard it came back, I was super excited because my dad rode a 49 Indian. So, they were kind of competing against themselves, and neither side could be profitable, right? Victory wasn't making money, and Indian wasn't making money because half their sales were going to Victory. So they're like, listen, this is crazy that we're competing with ourselves. It's hard enough to compete with Harley as it is. We're competing with ourselves too, right? So they had to do that. It only made sense to go with the heritage brand that they really wanted from the beginning and that had the most recognition and had the heritage that would survive, right? So they had to let Victory go. And Victory was making some nice bikes. And let's be honest, the Pursuit was the next Victory that was going to come out. I mean,
absolutely.
It was, the Challenger and the Pursuit were the next Victory bikes. They put an eye on the engine. That's what they did. So they had to do that to focus more of their market share on one bike. So this is totally different from that because Indian is profitable now. It is, it is, as Chris said, the number one midweight bike, American bike being sold. I mean, we have gained year over year over year over year. So now is the time that if they want to steward this company to go to even greater things, is to let it go out on its own and watch the teenager grow to adulthood. That's the way I'll say it. Let's watch this baby. Let's watch this baby grow, right?
Yep. And we have Mike here, and I don't know a lot of people know who Mike is. You've probably seen his parts actually in some dealers, actually down there in at Chattanooga, the dealer there, Crockett Power Sports, Ride Culture, right?
Culture.
Yeah, so you got the bikes, aftermarket parts. Everybody knows what this is, right? You guys know what this is? I mean, I got a lot of lights tonight. Okay, so this is what he owns this company. All right, that's another thing you got to do is you got to support Mike. All right. And that kind of stuff, because we need people to make aftermarket parts, and especially for Christmas, make sure you got some lists, for Ride Culture parts. All right. Because I know he's working on a bunch of things, and I know he's looking for investments in this company also. So check out rideculture.com. If I'm not, it's with a Y. Let me make sure I get that in the link here. All right. And I've actually interviewed him a couple times, folks. And you can actually watch that interview on YouTube, and it'll tell you what he's trying to do and what his future is. And I'm going to put this in the link right now, but support these guys.
He does have a comment in there you might want to read, Chris.
Okay, what is that? Go ahead, read it.
And I agree with this comment. Read it. I agree with this comment.
I also think that service and technician training can become more of a focus for the standalone company, especially as they become more profitable, as service is one of the main money makers. So he has a great point there.
Yep.
Yeah. A lot of the tech training is online training.
Yeah. And I look for the new and again, I don't have any inside information on this, but knowing Mr. Kennedy and what he did with Harley, Harley has never shied away from the aftermarket parts.
Mm-hmm.
They encourage that, and I look for the improved or new and improved Indian motorcycle. I look for it to embrace more fully embrace the aftermarket parts side of things.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So for the mics out there, hang in, buddy, because I think it's coming.
Yeah. And one of the guys said in here that 2021, since then, that Indian, let's see, we're
just heard 30% drop in Indian sales worldwide since 2021. If true, not growing, shrinking.
Well, market share is growing. All right, who's going to buy a motorcycle with an interest rate of 14%? Okay,
yeah.
So sales are going to be down, but their market share is still growing. So check out that stat. Okay, so yes, as interest rates come down, people are going to be buying more bikes, guaranteed.
But it's not just Indian that's shrinking.
Yeah,
the entire motorcycle market is shrinking. Mm-hmm. Honda, Yamaha, Suzuki, Indian,
BMW,
Harley, BMW, they're all shrinking. So it's a misnomer to say Indian is shrinking, because yes, while the entire market is shrinking, right, the Indian is gaining more market share, as Chris said. Mm-hmm. They're gaining more market share than anybody else, which is what has got Harley crap in their pants.
Yep, exactly. Because it's there's a slump in all motorcycle sales, like you just said, and the good thing is people are keeping Indians longer, and there are people buying Indians. They're coming from Harley, Honda, and that kind of stuff. So yes, their sales might be shrinking, but their market share is growing, and that's the reason why this company said, this is a good investment. Because they know what the future is like. What we got to do is got to get younger riders out there, and that's one of the things that I try to work on this podcast is talk about safety. And we have people on here to actually, are safety technicians and that kind of stuff for motorcycles. Now, if I would say we got to figure out safely to get our young, kids. My son, he wants a motorcycle, but I told him don't get a motorcycle until you get some training. So make sure you get training, because I don't want to get him on a crotch rocket. The next thing you know, he's going 300 miles per hour on an interstate, running from cops. We just got to be respectful about that. I know I'm getting into weeds here, but anyway, yeah, sorry. Let's go back and focus on this. That's another podcast.
Well, Ride with Two Indians wants to know if Ride Culture has, I think, some kind of driving lights.
Driving lights?
Yeah. I think that's what he said.
Yeah, so Michael will answer that. Let's see. I stand by what I said earlier. I actually think this will there's
uncuff.
Yeah.
Uncuff
yeah, exactly.
Indian. Yeah.
Yep. And that's what I was saying earlier is Polaris, they had to spread the money out. They have $1 billion, but they can't give it all to Indian. They had to compensate, their slump in sales also on that side of the team. So now we have this investment firm that completely controls Indian. And that's the reason why Harley-Davidson riders are so upset also, because they can't say Polaris anymore because it's Indian now by itself. I've even seen some people say Carolwood motorcycles. Come on, folks, get over it.
To that point, if Indian was only 7% of Polaris's assets, how much autonomy did they really have? Like how many hoops did they jump through for every decision that was made?
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And they could be more focused on, events, these rallies and that kind of stuff. They could be more focused. They can actually probably save some money on there too, because they're independent now, that they can focus on making sure their riders are comfortable and they're treated fairly at these events. I know that when we went to the Kingdom of Baggers, and I'm not expecting Indian to do this, but you go there, Harley-Davidson spends, probably $1 million on their trucks, their computers, their cut engines, so you can go around looking at them and take film, that kind of stuff. I do not expect Indian to be doing something like that. If they do, I think they're putting investment in the wrong technology and that kind of stuff. They should be putting that stuff in their bikes and stuff. Go ahead. I love my Carolwood chieftain.
So I want to address a question here by Joe Braun. Where's the Jack Daniels event next year? So the dates have been announced, October 1st through the 3rd. We cannot announce yet where it's going to be. It's between 2 locations. I can't say what those locations are, but it will not be Chattanooga next year. Whenever we hear, which should be soon, hopefully within the next couple weeks, whenever we hear where it's actually going to be, that will be all over the Midwest page. And Indian, it'll be on Indian's website. So keep watching for that. It's coming soon. And what I can say is they're going to allow more bikes next year than they allowed this year. Just like last year, they didn't have as many as they had this year because the registration was limited. They're going to have even more next year than they had this year.
And one of the reasons why that happened is because Jack Daniels was having an event at the same time. They couldn't have that many people there, so they had to cap it. So this year is not with the competition. So that's going to be really, it's a week earlier than it normally is. So that's one of the things that's going to be a really advantage for Indian motorcycle riders. And the other thing is, I really want to say this because we was going to have a podcast about the Jack Daniels follow up and how we liked it and that kind of stuff. We all loved it. Chattanooga 1985 did a heck of a job with Ed and Jeffrey Maxwell. You guys had some freaking phenomenal freaking routes. I loved them. And Jeff Maxwell, he was on the podcast. Ed was on the podcast there at the dealership. Jeff Maxwell, if you're in that area, reach out to him. He's the president of that IMRG 1985. But I really appreciate them too, making us feel like, we actually belonged there. Like it was almost like a home, So
Jeff said there was 650 bikes.
Oh wow!
There was that many bikes?
No.
Oh,
that's next year.
Woo.
Next year.
That's next year. Next year.
There were multiple bikes. Well, this year there was a lot of bikes too.
They had this year they had 500 registrants and 380 bikes.
So that's still a lot.
So so next year they're upping it to, they're going to allow 650 registrants, not necessarily bikes.
Okay.
Yep, I like this comment right here. Brown green. Yeah, awesome comment right there. So balancing on its own 2 wheels, exactly right. No more Polaris training wheels. Yeah.
Listen, I don't want to diss Polaris at all.
No, we're not.
Because
to
me, if this thing goes, now I'm just saying, this is my opinion. This is nothing from coordinator or anything like that. This is my opinion. If this thing goes the way I think it will go, Polaris will go down in history as the company that saved Indian motorcycle for good.
Yeah.
I honestly believe that.
So why the cap? Okay, so let me explain something to you. Okay, have you ever went to a bike week and you felt lost and you had no friends because there's like 100,000 people there? I think when you have an owner's event like that, you feel more important when you can actually see Indian staff walking around. You also can see influencers walking around and that kind of stuff because it's a smaller, more of a family inclusive kind of event. And that's what Jack Daniels was. I mean, do you guys not agree or not?
Yeah.
So
without a cap, that would be a logistical nightmare trying to plan all that stuff as well. As many events that we had and all the rides, that'd just be crazy without an idea of how many is coming.
And the thing is too, is that, listen, you got breakfast at the stadium whenever you went to leave. You had a great barbecue dinner at Jack Daniels. You had the night before you had an awesome you had an awesome dinner at that venue. Then Jeffrey Maxwell's team put on a barbecue, basically like a hamburger, best hamburger voted like 9 times in the Chattanooga area. They had that event. I mean, you hardly had to pay for food. It seemed like it was like you were getting fed every time you turned around, right? So they cap it because what they were afraid of is losing the quality of the event. So they, not this year, but the previous 2 years, they would only let 200 to 250 bikes in. So, I had a discussion with them, and honestly, I actually asked Nick from Indian Motorcycle if what I told him last year was the reason they let more bikes in this year, and he told me yes. So I'm going to go ahead and say what I told him.
Go ahead.
I pulled him and Maddie aside, and I pulled them off to the side where you could see all the bikes and see all the people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, listen, I want you to just stand here for a minute. I don't want you to say anything. I just want you to look with your eyes and listen with your ears and just stand back and watch what's going on. And, a couple seconds went by and I said, did you hear that laughter over there? Hear that laughter break out? Then a couple seconds later, another group over here broke out. And I said, hear that laughter over there? I said, look at the people walking around, talking and meeting new people and bending down and looking at each other's bikes and saying, hey, where'd you get that light bar? And where'd you get this? And where'd you get that? What kind of seat is that? I said, dude, this is what it's about, man.
Mm-hmm.
I said, it is about, look at, there's lifetime friendships being made here.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
This is what it's about. Let's go. Let's open this thing up,
Yep.
And whenever I was done, Maddie was like, man, you need to be our hype man. But he told me, he said, yeah, that had a big impact. He goes, whenever you pointed that out, that had a big impact. And that's part of the reason why we opened up to more. And that's part of the reason why we're figuring out how to open it up to more next year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's
so they listen and they understand. They listen and they understand. I'm telling you.
Yep. I'm trying to look for something here. All right, Les, what do you got, man? You got anything? You got any questions? Is Les, can you hear us?
Sorry, I was actually muted there. Chris must have muted me. We need that tech guy.
How can I mute you?
No, Brian, I absolutely agree with you. Part of the best part of that event was meeting new people. At the gatherings before the rides, and then at the dinners and the events, and it was just a great time. We met 2 or 3 new couples, and we'll be friends now. And I'm really looking forward to next year.
Yeah.
See what see what comes out of that. So,
I tell you what, a lot of people don't know I'm pretty backwards. About 5 years ago, I wouldn't talk to nobody, actually.
We know.
Yeah, I know. I was like a very quiet person, and finally, I just started. I need to get out of this house. Start opening the doors, started spending time, started looking at some motorcycles. Eventually, I bought one. Next thing you know, I joined the IMRG and created friends there. Went to dealership, created friends there. Went to these events, created friends there. I have so many friends that I cannot even communicate. Sometimes it makes me feel sad that I can't even communicate to all of them because it feels like I'm leaving some out. And that's, it's crazy to say that, but it's something good to have in a motorcycle, because you can just say on Facebook, hey, I'm going to do a ride next week. Anybody interested? You have like 6 or 7 friends that just want to jump on your ride now. It's crazy. And
Chris, that's actually true. You stalked me in the dealership that Saturday.
Yep. And I met Max at an IMRG meeting. So I would say
I regret that day forever.
Yeah, I regret it. I regretted it like 10 times. I thought about it 10 times a day. I was thinking, why can't I do the reverse this? Just kidding. And that's how I met Brian. That's how I met Chris, And one thing I try to do is, because I know Riding Fish is on here, Mike is on here, Gator Mike is here. I met all these guys. These guys are influencers kind of in their own way. Some of them sell sauces. Some of them sell Indian aftermarket parts. We're all family. Riding Fish is an influencer. We got 2 Indians here I just met. I've been wanting to meet that guy forever. Go check his channel out. And he's going to start filming and recording again and posting it. So that's going to be good. So, but I got to meet him. I've been watching his videos for at least 2 years. Because I was looking for a Challenger, and I found, riding fish. I found 2 Indians, and I found I don't want to forget Finesse. And Finesse was there at the event too. He was, I mean, my gosh, I've never seen him so comfortable. I mean, I met him like 3 or 4 times, but man, he was like rocking it at the Jack Daniels event. These guys, you can walk up to them, they'll shake your hand, they'll give you a hug, they'll be best friends with you. I mean, they want to support you just as much as you want to support them. Chris right here, he has his own YouTube channel. You want to say what it is again? Our Indian Inventors, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So check out his. Let me get a link for his channel. Let me see if I can get a link for all these channels real quick. Go ahead. Somebody speak up while I do that.
So one of the things you notice too is you see a lot of the same people at all the events. At Jack Daniels, at the Gathering, at Gettysburg, at Durango. So you start, and so now you don't see them just once a year. Now you start seeing them 3-4 times a year from all over the country because of these events.
And then your friendship gets even stronger, right? I mean, it's just like it becomes a family get together. It gets they all become family reunions. You get to know these people, and you hang out with them and you talk to them, and I saw Chris Marty on here, and one of his messages, and I wish I'd have ran into him because we were talking before the event, and I said, oh man, maybe I can get down there. Maybe when we're down there, I can meet you. I just never ended up running into him, but I'm sure we'll catch up at some point.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's totally it's like family. I mean, how you gonna walk away from that?
Yep.
That's what really builds the brand loyalties. Because how do you listen, man? Chris and I stopped and picked up Chris and Les on the way down to Jack Daniels, and we had some of Chris's crew there, some of my crew there, and we rode the rest of the way down together. And that's what it's about, right? Is picking up people along the way. And then Chris and I and his wife and Tim, a member of his group, we split off on the way home, and we did the back of the Dragon. We did the Talon. We did the Dragon Slayer. I mean, it was a blast. We had a blast. There were things that happened on that ride. That ride had everything. It had flat tires. It had rain. It had sun. It had cloudy days. We had curves. We had beautiful sweeping vistas. We had, freeway miles. We had back roads. We had, mishaps and perfectly great adventures. I mean, it had everything. It is a ride I will never forget. And it's something that Chris and I and members of his group can always connect in, and remember this, we can talk about Chris's starter holding us up before we could leave. We had to beat on his starter with a hammer. We thought the battery was dead. Turned out, nope, the starter was stuck. But see, that's all the things that make for the adventure, makes for the fun,
Yep. All right, I almost forgot because I don't know if Bob Cole's still on here, but anyway, Bob Cole is a big supporter too, and I want to mention all my friends that kind of supported us on the way here because I was riding fish, Finesse the Challenger, which I'll get his channel here. Bob Cole makes specialized custom levers for Indians and Harley-Davidson. Actually, if you go to our website, I have a link there. You can connect with him. Somebody used that link today, which is helping him out.
Customs.
Yeah, Bob BC Customs on Facebook, or you can use our website. What's that, Matt? I
have a set of Bob's levers on my Challenger. The way he matched my custom paint job, that was crazy.
Yeah, Les does.
Yeah, I want to get a set of those for my Elite, green and black. Those would be awesome.
That would look good.
Oh yeah. Well,
I want
to just go to throttleandiron.com. There's a link there. It'll get you right to Bob. Just tell him what you're looking for, and he will fix you up.
Yeah, that's what I want, man. I want to get a set of those.
Yeah, and he does a heck of a job. I mean, I love mine. I mean, I was going through them curbs, and it made it so much easier, believe it or not, having that shorty levers on there, and they fit. I got the finger grips. Oh man, they felt natural.
Got that white stripe to match it down the front.
Yeah, let me see if I can give you guys a link to the website, and you guys can go there, get you some, custom stuff. And now listen, we got 60 people on here. Let's get 60 likes. Let's get 60 freaking subscribes, okay? All right.
Chris Gator Mike said not to forget about his bike sauce too.
Yeah, I did talk about Gator earlier. Maybe
the cleaning stuff.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry.
The bike sauce.
Let's talk about sauce.
No, I don't know about the bike sauce, but man, I'll tell you what, my wife has called for an intervention with his barbecue sauce because that stuff.
It is awesome.
All right, so
use it by the bottle.
Here's Gator Mike's Swamp Shine pink soap, man. Great stuff. He also got detailers. I got that too. Now we're giving away you guys are probably wondering why we have all these parts back here. All right, if you're new, if you're watching, once we hit 1,000 subscribers, we're giving away this stuff. People can win it. We got, Charlie Chapa right there, pegs and stuff like that. And, we got the footrest. I want to give these guys, we got Gator Mike Swamp Sauce. We also are going to have, like I said, these right here. And we're also going to be giving away a set of BC custom levers. Okay. Yeah, and look at these.
Put me in that drawing.
Yeah. All this is going to be in the box. This thing's worth like $800 plus. I'm telling you guys, it's amazing what our friends have took care of us. Ride Culture. Please go to their website, check them out. Now, I think I gave all the influencers. If I've missed somebody, I apologize. If you need to get a hold of Gator Mike, you get some sauce, go to Ride Culture. They have a link there. Hopefully I will have some on my website soon, and we'll get that thing. But we have 6. This is the largest podcast that we've had, I think, continuously. I really appreciate you guys watching. Hopefully you guys liked what you saw tonight. And it's been great.
Well, it's understandable. Mm-hmm. Everybody's a little scared. It's understandable. Don't fear not, because we are going to live on, man.
And I think this podcast is going to, help people if they watch it, share this podcast, somebody that's got an Indian, share it. This podcast is going to help them feel a lot better about this transition. I understand people are scared. Okay. They fear. Everybody has that. All right. Mm-hmm. But we're the ones that could make or break this company. Okay. As long as they got good leadership, which they do. Okay. And if that guy's watching us. Okay. If you want to come on the podcast and talk about it, let's do it. Let's make it happen. All right. Anybody from Indian, if you guys are from Indian Corporation and you guys want to talk about it, go to the website, fill out the little application, and let's get you on here. Okay. This is the time to do that, to make the fears go away about this company. And that's what we need. And that's what we're trying to do, is help you out. I'm not sponsored by Indian. None of these guys in here are sponsored by Indian. We want to see this brand succeed because competition is good. All right. We are against Harley-Davidson. We are building market share against them. And eventually, what are you talking about, Max?
We're not against Harley-Davidson.
No, we're not against them. We're not against them.
Because they want us to succeed.
competition's good. Yeah, competition's good.
That's right.
Yeah, we are against them because that's competition. We want them to succeed just like us, but we want to make it an equal playing ground. So.
Bearded bobber, Chris.
Oh, the bearded bobber.
Oh,
damn.
Holy cow.
All right, so let's talk about that, okay? Anybody on here, listen, legends. I haven't done none of this stuff, so I got to get this stuff going. All right, the bearded bobber right there is his YouTube channel right there. So go check him out. Riding Fish and him are doing the Legends Never Die tour. Go to Riding Fish's website. And all the information's there about this. It starts, unless you look this up today. When does it start? I'll put you on the spot.
What is it?
Oh my gosh.
Hey, I'm responding to the comments. I'm not paying attention to you, Chris.
Oh, thanks.
He's helping me. My little fingers can't keep up, dude.
You're crazy.
Yeah, we got so many comments.
All right, I'm going to get the information out for you guys.
For the Legends Never Die tour.
Yes.
let me get my calendar up here. Give me one.
Yeah, because we got it on our calendar here. I want to give you guys a link here, and I'm going to give a link to the Bearded Bobber.
May. It's this is May of 2026, May 25th through June 4th.
It's Memorial Day to June 4th, and they came out with another video on it today.
Yes,
I saw it earlier.
Yes, go to Riding Fish's channel. It's on there, and I'm trying to find. I'm having a trouble finding this channel for some reason. It actually corrected it.
Bearded Bobber's on Instagram. I don't think he's got a YouTube.
Yeah, he's got a YouTube channel too. Yep, I got it. The Adventures of the Bearded Bobber. Okay, there we go.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, so he's on Instagram too. I wish I could put all the links on there, but it's kind of impossible. But anyway, there's ride and fish information, that kind of stuff. It's going to be a great ride. Check it out. And they just released all the dates, and we're going to have a podcast about that too in the future. So be look out for that. Also, we have our two. Me. What's that?
On their video today with Riding Fish and Bearded Bobber, they shouted out you two.
Yes.
They said Chris and Les are coming. They shouted you guys out.
Yes.
Oh.
That's going to be great.
So you got to go.
Oh, I got to figure out how I quit.
I want to go.
Find me a job.
Bad.
Oh my gosh. It's going to be great. We do have a guest next week. We have B-Rom Old Man or B-Room. Room Old Man. Indian, he did 125,000 miles in 125 days. He broke a record. He's doing it for charity. He's going to be on here. I'm telling you, man, check the podcast next week. This guy's got some stories you will not believe. All right.
He was even at the Jack Daniels, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. He was at Jack Daniels. He actually, the guy's so personal. His motorcycle was at the front of the doors. We walked over there. I mean, the guy was just so natural. He just talked to us, pretty much everything we asked, he answered, took pictures. I mean, same thing with you guys. You guys had the guy was just unbelievably friendly. I mean, I can't believe it. And you can feel it's genuine. I mean, it was legit.
Yeah.
So
it was amazing.
That bike looked like it had 145,000 miles on it.
Yeah. What amazed me was that, when he talked about he broke his front rim.
Oh yeah.
And he had to take some time off to get that fixed. And then he ended up doing, now I've done an iron butt, right? 1,000 miles in 24 hours. And it can be done. It's, I'm just saying, this guy did 1,500 miles 3 days consecutively. It took him 19 hours every day that he did it. So he rode 19 hours, slept for 5, rode another 19 hours, slept for 5, then rode another 19 hours. I mean, that's 3 bun burners in a row. That is crazy.
Yep.
Well, Chris,
people say
next.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well,
go ahead.
I think next year, Chris, we're going to try to do a throttle and iron butt, right?
Yes, we are planning that. So that's going to be cool. So anybody's invited to that. We're going to be going to. We're just going to race down to Mexico on a private course, and then we're going to end up in Alabama. All right, and then we're going to have some easy rides on the way back. So it's going to be really cool. So
okay,
we might do
just
that on
lost
the week
me
of the. What's that?
You just lost me because you said Alabama. I'm not riding in Alabama. Forget it. Ain't happening.
All right. Riding easy. I got you on there, man. And Chris Marty. Holy cow, man. I apologize. Do not think I forgot you. I got Chris Marty on the podcast in 3 weeks. I also got 2 Indians on here in 2 weeks. And I got Voom, or whatever he was. Old man. Sorry about that. I could never say it right for some reason. It's not his fault. It's my fault.
You're never going to say it right, ever.
No. But he's here next Tuesday. So, yes, we got a bunch of guests lined up. It's going to be fun. Hope you guys enjoy. I want to see 60 people here next week. I want to see 60 people next week after that. And, it's going to be fun. So let me get Chris Marty's channel on here. Gosh, I apologize, man. That's what I'm saying. Eventually I will run out of time to do everybody. All right, so final thoughts, guys. What do you got? Or do you want to continue this? Whatever you want to do. So
I think from my perspective, one, I'm excited for Indian Motorcycle and what the future is going to be with a singular focus, and and what they do to move ahead. I think they've got the right leadership in place, and I think it's going to be good. I'm also excited for the events next year. The folks out there watching in YouTube land and Facebook, stay tuned, because Chris and I are planning some things for next year, and it's going to be a bigger year next year, and I'm excited for the future on all fronts.
I just want to say one more thing. So listen, I know I've been pretty loud here and pretty in favor of this, but listen, if I didn't think this was a good thing, I would tell you. Honestly, if my heart didn't believe it, I couldn't say it. So I'm not up here to BS anybody. I think this is really a good thing, and I'm excited to see where it goes. Like I said, keep your eyes on the Midwest region page. Keep your eyes on all the regional pages on Facebook, because we're going to have a meeting here later this week with Indian Motorcycle, and we're gonna see what we can find out. Can't say we can say anything right away, but they have told us that they're going to keep us posted as things move along. I imagine this first meeting will be a lot of this, right? Just getting questions out there. And then after that, they're going to start, as things progress, they're going to keep us posted as it goes along. So keep your eyes peeled. Keep looking at don't listen to all the old Polaris 2.0 stuff. I don't think it's true. Keep listening to the people who are in the know and who have the contacts, who can, let you know information as it comes out. I mean, Riding Fish and those guys got the same email that we got. So, hey, keep listening to it, right? Keep listening to that and seeing where it goes.
Yep. Yeah, I think the other thing is done. The other thing that gives you hope is Pikes Peak is the #1 dealer in the nation. They're excited about this. So if they've got real skin in the game and they're excited about this, that gives you some hope for the future.
Yeah, there's a theme to those posts that are going on, because a lot of the Indian dealerships are posting positive things about this. So that's becoming a theme.
Yep. All right. So who's all okay? Max, what are your thoughts?
Our dealership in Northern Kentucky is on board with the positivity on it. They were gung-ho, all for it. Me, I remain cautiously optimistic.
All right.
I'm waiting to see.
Yep. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. There's something wrong. Oh, shit. Something has happened to Max. I don't know what happened to him. I knew there was technical difficulties, but Jesus, I didn't know. I need to get somebody. Oh, there he is. He's back. Okay. I'm sorry about that.
What happened?
Yes, would you stop it?
I know. I love Max. I love him. All right. Is everybody? Go ahead.
I just read Mike Sampeo's comment. You should throw that up there.
Where is it at? Which one?
Yeah,
Brian.
Brian President.
Yep. All right. So the thing is, go reach out to the local IMRG. Go to your dealership, see if they have one. If not, start one. All right. You got the Midwest right here. They can help you get approved, that kind of stuff. You do have to invest the time in there. So make sure you're willing to do that, and make sure you're kind of not doing it to be a dictator. You want to be a leader. Okay. You want to make sure people are going to follow you and that kind of stuff, because that's the only way you're going to be a success. So look in a mirror before you do that, because we really need successful IMRGs out there. Okay. The other thing is Indian motorcycles. Let's ride this like it never been rode before. This is something that's going to help us out, because we don't have to worry about Polaris sharing the money. This firm has investors investing in it. They had approved this buy. That means they are willing to put the money down. Hopefully they got the leadership. It looks like they do with this guy. He's got some experience, and it's going to be great. I think the only way this is to be a success is everybody that's on this screen, everybody that's listening to this podcast for the next 2 to 3 years. We're the ones that are going to make or break this company. So back it and ride it. All right. That's all I can say.
I'm doing the best I can, man.
All right, Chris, you got anything? All right, did I miss you? Or
nope.
All right, good. All right. Well, folks, thank you for watching. If you do want a 112 shirt or you want a 112 hat and that kind of stuff, go to the website, throttleandiron.com. Look at that bad boy right
When's
there.
the 116 stuff coming out?
I am working on it.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
I just got to be careful. I don't want to have no lawsuits where, Indian coming.
You got lawsuits coming from the 112. Come on.
Okay, so I got to respond to this one thing because somebody asked any resurgence of victory with this new company, and
no.
Somebody said, no one wants to touch that victory equation. I'll touch it. I touched on it earlier. Why would Indian Motorcycle be in competition with themselves with victory? That's the reason it was shut down in the first place, is because Indian was competing with themselves with victory. Mm-hmm. So my answer is, nah, I don't think that victory's coming back. Mm-hmm. But if you want to buy Indian, it's basically the next bike that victory was going to produce anyway. So
yeah,
and that's the answer. If you love victory that much, the technology is right there in Indian Motorcycle. All you have to do is swing your leg across one.
Yep.
That's the answer.
And to all our friends out there, because we have Zan Biker, Dr. Harley, 859. Who else am I missing? Rolling Thunder, all them guys. They are all Harley-Davidson riders, right? They are friends of ours. We watch their podcasts. They watch ours. They in here supporting us. We support them. We are one big happy family, but we need both of them to survive, or you're going to be selling your house to afford a Harley-Davidson in the future. All right.
Yep.
So, all right.
Okay.
I think that's it, folks. I appreciate everyone watching. If you haven't subscribed, get in there and start subscribing. If you're watching on Facebook, please go to YouTube and go subscribe. We are trying to get to 1,000. Once we get to 1,000, and share this podcast. Okay? All right. We're going to give away all this stuff back here. We're going to put it in a box, and I'm going to pay $60 for shipping to somebody in America that's going to have this box. All right? Now, if you don't have an Indian motorcycle, what can you do with this stuff? Well, if you have a friend that has an Indian, well, you can give it to him for a Christmas present, because we want to get to 1,000 before Christmas. Okay? We want to give this box away before Christmas. This is going to be a great Christmas present. So what I need you to do is share this podcast to people that actually want to watch motorcycle podcasts or motorcycle videos, okay? If you share it to somebody like your grandma that has a YouTube channel but never watches this, don't even know what the YouTube app is, that kind of hurts us. So spread the news that there's a new podcast in town and we're taking over, and this is what you get. Quality stuff with guests like this, Chris and Brian, all right? Everybody have a good night. We're going to play some music, and thank you for watching.
From the roar of the engine to...
Oh, that's the wrong one. Let's see. I don't know.
Peace and namaste.
Yeah,
Peace
thank you, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah, everybody have a good night.
Thank you.
Yeah,
From the roar of the engine to the freedom of the open...
The freedom of the open road. All right, there we go. Wait, that's good enough. All right, everybody have a good night.
Everybody.
We'll see you guys next week. We got a fabulous guest on. And we'll see you next week.